The warmest of welcomes to you indeed to the Lokomotiv Stadium in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, and the third match day in Group I of the 2021 AFC Champions League. This is the East region, packed with fixtures, packed with football, and in the case of Kawasaki Frontale, packed with goals. They sit at the top of Group I with the maximum 6 points from their first two fixtures. It's top versus bottom, for they meet United City FC of Philippines. A very positive start for the nominal visitors today. Well, we are in the neutral setting of the Silk Road city of Tashkent. But the smaller team played so very well against an albeit young Beijing Guoan team, and they managed to earn a point. They very nearly managed to earn a victory, and that's what has them level on points at the bottom of Group I. This is going to be an absolutely enormous task. Let's contextualize this. United City FC drew 1-1 with Beijing Guoan when the Chinese side met Kawasaki Frontale. They lost by 7 goals to 0. Frontale started their Group I campaign with an impressive 3-2 win against Daegu FC of Korea Republic. They did it coming back from a goal down on 2 occasions before Zhao Schmidt, who starts today, scored in the 55th minute to give them the win. Their goalkeeper on that occasion, Jung Sung-ryong, was extremely important, saving a penalty kick when they were 1-0 down. Will he be tested in remotely the same way today? There's no doubt that United City FC have got some very experienced players and some fine goal scorers. It's just a matter of whether they get the chance to test the Korean shot stopper. Only the top side in the group goes through. More teams in the AFC Champions League this season, and that means more pressure. It means more important to get first place in the group, because only 3 of the 5 second place sides will secure passage to the knockout stage of Asia's flagship club competition. We've seen some very close contests so far. We've seen some extremely exciting and dramatic contests. Are we going to see a real contest between these two sides, or is it going to be the comfortable win that everybody expects for Kawasaki Frontale? They are used to victories. They are accustomed to great success. They are, quite simply, the finest team in Japan at the moment. And there are some very fine teams in Japan at the moment, and have been for quite some time. But Kawasaki Frontale are really the pace setters, not just now, where they sit atop of J1, but over the past several years. They had one little dip in 2020 where they finished 4th in the table, 2019 I should say, when they finished 4th in the table. But champions in 2017 and 2018, and then the title again last year. And as things stand, they are the favourites to win it yet again. They are, though, taking on a team that is also the dominant force domestically. United City FC won a much truncated Philippine league last season. Only 5 fixtures in total, but they were the team that just narrowly by a single point secured the title. What they do have is a squad of players who are really getting to know each other for the first time, because there have been such considerable changes to United City FC in recent months, not least the change of name. Not for the first time in their lifetime. You're watching the East region of the 2021 AFC Champions League. Setting of the Lokomotiv Stadium in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. And we are just a matter of moments away from the entrance of the teams onto the field of play and the beginning of what we hope will be a high-scoring and exciting contest, but back and forth rather than in one direction. There may be no spectators here in Tashkent, but it has in no way diminished the intensity and energy of what has happened when the whistle has blown. Two teams who dominate things domestically, aside from Philippines, known as the Golden Boys, who have lived up to their nickname. They've just won their 4th title, and they take on a team that has dominated football in Japan for the last few years, who have just recently won their 3rd title. The finest in one country against the finest in another. It is what the AFC Champions League is all about. It is Kawasaki Frontale against United City FC. And it is a very pleasant early evening kick-off in Uzbekistan. They played under the much stronger glare of the floodlights before this one, a slightly earlier start. Well, everywhere you look in the Kawasaki Frontale team, there are goals, even though this is a much rotated squad by Toru Onniki. It's certainly clear that Reo Hatate, who will start at left back, will go all over the place down the left flank and really get forward. Keep an eye out on the other side for Akihiro Ienaga, the 35-year-old, the veteran, getting an opportunity to start. Match officials from Iran, and the two captains, Shogo Taniguchi and Stefan Schrock. United City FC, a squad of players who really are getting to know each other because there have been so many changes recently. They're captained by the very experienced Stefan Schrock, who scored their first ever AFC Champions League goal in the contest with Beijing Goan. He plays in a 3-player attacking line alongside Mike Ott, another player born in Germany. On the substitutes bench for Kawasaki Frontale, Zain Isaka, who was really impressive when he came on against Beijing Goan, and Tatsuya Hasegawa, who scored the opening goal of that victory. And there is the 23-year-old Hatate, very highly regarded university player who has recently made the move into the professional game. As we look at Zhao Schmidt, wearing number 6 for Frontale, who scored the winning goal against Daegu. This meeting between Kawasaki Frontale and United City FC gets underway at the Lokomotiv Stadium in Tashkent. It is the team from Philippines in possession, attacking the goal to your left. And it's Group I of the 2021 AFC Champions League, a group that sees the team in blue and black, the Azzurro Nero, or the Gremio from Japan, as they're sometimes known, managed by Toru Oniki. They are at the top of the group. And United City FC at the bottom with just a point from their first 2 games, but making history by earning that point against Beijing Goan. A great success, first success for a team from their country. And they were disappointed that they didn't get more out of it, and that, I think, is evidence of the confidence with which they approached the game. They really felt that they had dominated it, and they felt that because they had frankly dominated it, completely dominated it. Just one shot on target their opponents had. It was a free kick that found the back of the net. And there's the gentleman who has recently taken over, Jason With, the most highly regarded coach. 49-year-old from Liverpool. He's very experienced at working in Asia, particularly Southeast Asia. As that one goes behind for the first corner kick of the match. Kaoru Mitoma, winger, 24 years old, scored 8 goals already this season in the league. So the first test for Anthony Pintus, and he was impeded. No, he wasn't impeded, he was grappled, wasn't he, by Kaoru Mitoma. Just quite clearly had his arms wrapped around the 23-year-old who was born in the German-speaking portion of Switzerland. Started his career at Grasshopper in Zurich. Quite a number of the United City FC players were born overseas. It's Leandro Damião. Now the ball is with Hikaru Minegishi, who was born in Japan, in Sendai, 30-year-old. Omid Nazari, his younger brother, is also in the side. This is over the top and a good idea to search for Mike Ott. Number 4 is Jeziel, player who initially joined the club on loan from Atletico Mineiro. Was made permanent last year. First time that he had played outside of his homeland. Leandro Damião brought down on the edge of the area. Hurt as he landed, by the looks of things. And there was the challenge by Amin Nazari. He does really clatter somewhat into the Brazilian. So Anthony Pintus will be tested with United City FC already having been beaten by 3 kicks in this competition. The header was by the captain, Shogo Taniguchi. Something of a club legend. Played over 300 games for Kawasaki Frontale, still only 29. For much longer. Birthday in just under a couple of weeks. Oshima to Zhao Schmidt. He's had extensive continental football experience in the course of his career. To Jeziel, player who gave away that penalty in the first game when it was 1-0, the penalty that was saved by Chung Sung-ryong against Daegu. They went on to win 3-2. Well overhit. There the 36-year-old who won the AFC Champions League with Seongnam in 2010. Was Mark Hartman. And now it's with Minagishi. Oh, look at Kento Tachibanada, who scored the second goal against Beijing Guan. Zhao Schmidt. Going across is Justin Bass. Yenve Maragnon wears 7 for United City FC. This goes out on the other flank now to Minagishi. To the captain, Stefan Schrock. Played away by Miki Yamane, but only as far as Omid Nazari. It's a fascinating team of true world travellers, United City FC. People who've played football all over the world, people who've lived and grown up all over the world. Maybe one of the things that unifies so many of their players is an extraordinary, steadfast determination to pursue a professional career, to be willing to uproot, to be able to acclimatise quickly to a new style of football, a new country, a new way of life. Players like Yenve Maragnon, who has had just an extraordinary story into the professional game, which I dare say we'll have more chance to talk about as this game goes on. Tachibanada moves the ball to Ienaga. Ienaga sees Miki Yamane. And Yamane gets quite easily behind Minagishi, chested down but not finished by Leandro Damiao. It was with real ease there that Miki Yamane danced his way past Hikaru Minagishi. Ienaga. Hatate. Hatate, who won the World University Games with Japan in 2017 and 2019, including scoring in the final of the edition 2 years ago against Brazil. It was a lovely revenge for him too, because he'd missed the final penalty kick against Brazil in the Toulon tournament earlier that year. A bit of a redemption story for the young man. Truly was a lovely event, the World University Games in Napoli. Andrea Bocelli singing Nessun Dorma at the opening ceremony. That's how you start a football tournament off, isn't it? Xiao Schmidt. Chibanada. That's over the top from Xiao Schmidt, and just couldn't quite stay onside. It was a close one. It's a very close one. Intus, goalkeeper who only conceded a single goal in the league last season, and then probably would add in a quiet voice, there were only 5 matches, but it's a nice statistic to have, isn't it? Tachibanada will shoot, and it goes out for a corner kick to Kawasaki Frontale. He finished well against Beijing Goan, seizing upon Nabi's half clearance and then deflecting the ball off him on the goal line. It will be the 28-year-old Ryota Oshima taking the short corner. Hatate couldn't control it, Leandro Damião. Niki, the highly successful, highly impressive head coach of Kawasaki Frontale, clear example of right man for the job. What he has done with the team, turned them from a nearly team into the team. Their opponents barely touching the ball at the moment. Jeziel. Got to be a little careful here. Drawing the foul anyway was Mark Hartman. 29-year-old from Southampton in the United Kingdom. Nibbled at there really by Tachibanada. It's well played by Omid Nazari. All the way back to Anthony Pintus. Looking for Minagishi, asking quite a lot of him really. All he was able to do was to flick it to Zhao Schmidt, and here now is Miki Yamane. Yamane once more goes out to Ienaga. Yamane to cross and just over the top of Leandro Damião. It came off Ryota Oshima. Sean Kane, 30-year-old, who played with real distinction at Menlo College in United States of America in California. Went there to get his undergraduate degree in sports management and ended up as an assistant coach. Really did impress during a period of injury. Used the time to develop his pedagogical skills. Omid Nazari suggesting to the referee that Miki Yamane had jumped aggressively. They haven't been under enormous pressure with ball at feet. Kawasaki Frontale, they've had plenty of time. United City FC happy to try to soak up pressure and be rather conservative, just looking for a counter-attacking chance here and there. And you know what? So far they've done well. They've done significantly better than Beijing Guoan did. It was already 2-0 to Frontale by this stage. What a time of enormous change it has been for this team from Philippines, United City FC, not least the change of name, but what it really signifies, the change of ownership. Real difficulties the club was in during the pandemic. And so many new players as well, so many of them making their first appearances for the team in this competition. It's fair to say they've gone about an aggressive process of acquiring some top players from their country. There weren't huge numbers that made it from the old regime into the new one. And certainly, if they blend as a team, it's going to make them an even more challenging prospect domestically. When one considers they've just won their 4th consecutive title. They are the only team to have ever won the Philippines Football League, because it was newly branded newly created in 2017. Another foul by Tachibanada. From the restart, Hikaru Negishi. In by Taniguchi. Possession recovered by the Golden Boys. 27 is Jung Da-won in possession now. Player born in Daejeon in the Korea Republic. Another tough one for Minegishi to control. Yamane was just all over him quickly, but possession with Hartmann. Kawasaki Frontale making it very hard for United City FC to really have any control over the ball and put anything meaningful together. And watching on is Jason With, the new head coach. But it has to be regarded as a highly successful first 23 minutes for United City. There are a lot of sides who are significantly bigger than them, with significantly more high-profile players who do not manage to get this far into a game against Kawasaki Frontale and restrict them so effectively. Taniguchi. Tate. Possession so far is about 60% to Kawasaki Frontale, and maybe United City FC have seen a little more of the ball than they might have expected to. Yamane. Schmidt. Yamane over the top and cleverly played, and this might be the first, and what a good piece of goalkeeping, denying Ryota Oshima. Anthony Pintus with the save. It was Kaoru Mitoma actually who had the chance. And down in discomfort is Minegishi. Well, the dispute continuing rather needlessly, and it is a first booking of the match. Heavily involved was Sean Kane. Charles Schmidt, the player who has been booked. Yellow card for Sean Kane. We'll just get confirmation of exactly what the decision was there. So it's a clear foul, isn't it, on Kane Ball there? I mean, that obviously has to be a bookable offence. Just check that Schmidt does get booked as well. Now, meanwhile, Chung Sung-ryong tested. Nearly caught out there, Kawasaki Frontale, in the aftermath of the foul and the caution. Jeziel. Xiao Schmidt trying to go through the middle. Leandro Damião looking for Kaoru Mitoma, who had that chance just a few moments ago against Anthony Pintus. Now distributed to Yenaga, whose cross is going to require something from Pintus, and something he was very up for and dealt with easily. Yamane goes back to Jung. Xiao Schmidt. Jeziel. Schrock fouled just as Leandro Damião thought that he was going to get a chance to do something with that. And he was irritated about it as the captain of the opposition stays down. Again, there can be little to complain about. It was a clear shot from Miki Yamane. For confirmation, the cards were indeed shown to Kane and Xiao Schmidt. So there's one yellow card apiece as a result of that rather indecorous moment. Hartmann. Jung Da-won. Amin Nazari. We'll go back to Pintus, who's getting increasingly busy. Schrock, who seems okay now. Oh, who's really gone in out of control on Jeziel, and the referee's quite right to come over and urge Stefan Schrock to calm himself down. He believes he was fouled, but that was really a rather needless thing to do. Could have got himself cautioned. For Jeziel to control, but he goes back to Jung. Goalkeeper who's mostly been the first choice since he arrived at Kawasaki Frontale in 2016 after 12 years in the K-League. Playing in his 52nd Champions League game today, the 36-year-old. Hugely impressive career. And it continues to be a hugely impressive start from United City FC. This is disciplined. This is challenging. for Kawasaki Frontale. They've allowed Leandro Damião very little to enjoy. That's why he's looking a touch irritated. Of course, the only problem is with Leandro Damião that he can switch on and off very fast and do some spectacular things. He got a couple of goals in the win against Daegu, including a rather spectacular first. So here is the Frontale corner, and it goes harmlessly over the top. Schmidt. Hasn't scored any goals in the league so far this season. Schmidt to Oshima, and here's a great chance for the first. It's been saved, and then the deflection is a fortuitous one. Anthony Pintus, though, with another good stop from close range. 23-year-old has made a very positive start. Same outcome as before, same player denied, Kaoru Mitoma. And maybe, if one is being critical of Kawasaki Frontale, they ought to have put those two past the Swiss-born keeper. And they have put that one in. They finally get the goal. And really that was from a can't-miss sort of position, wasn't it? For the number 18. Kaoru Mitoma. He finally, at the third time of asking, manages to hit the target. Corner from Ryota Oshima. And then picking it up from very close range. Well, that would have been a most embarrassing miss for him. But miss he does not, and it is Kawasaki Frontale 1, United City FC 0. First goal in the AFC Champions League for Kaoru Mitoma, who has had a very good time of things lately. He's been selected for the Tokyo 2020 Japan team. Now, what impact does this have on United City FC? Do they now find that their resistance starts to break? And it's been a very good resistance. Leandro Damião, and nearly getting himself into a muddle. Amin Nazari, who has an animated conference with Anthony Pintus. Tough on Pintus to have been beaten like that from the corner kick. Leandro Damião just misses him. Atate. Tachibanada. Well, now for United City FC, it's that old tried and tested footballing cliche of make it to the half-time interval with it just being a single goal, because what Kawasaki Frontale did so well against Beijing Guoan was to score at rather morale-sapping times. A couple of very early ones, then goals either side of half-time, and it just left the Chinese players looking rather bedraggled actually. Goalkeeper nearly embarrassed Alejandro Damião. Started by the Brazilian Jeziel to his fellow countryman João Schmidt. Alejandro Damião has taken off his feet actually. Captain Shogo Taniguchi. Now, João Schmidt. It's him again, isn't it? Stefan Schrock, not for the first time. A touch combative, as the old euphemism goes. Jeziel. Cut out by Jung. João Schmidt to Jeziel. Almost getting away is Alejandro Damião. He managed really to sneak in behind the defence. Nobody to play it to though. Here is Akihiro Ienaga. By Ienaga. He gets it back, trying to get away from Schrock. Tachibanada. Quicker movement of the ball now from Kawasaki Frontale. It's taken away from Mitoma. And then a foul. Just to relieve some of that pressure by Ryota Oshima. Another of that core group of players that has been with Kawasaki Frontale for his entire career, Ryota Oshima. And it's easy to see that as being really at the crux of their success. Niki has gone about getting some very good acquisitions to the squad. He's brought in some excellent players, but he's also kept prominence for those highly reliable first name on the team sheet kind of players. Mitoma. Maragnon trying to get there, but unable to. So the last several minutes of this first half. Just 3 shots on target for Kawasaki Frontale. It has to be, even though United City FC are going in a goal down, regarded as promising and successful first 45 minutes, though it could be about to get worse now. Oh, that is just splendid football. Very well finished by Ryota Oshima. A moment of true Kawasaki Frontale magic from one of their longest serving players. It's Kawasaki Frontale 2, United City FC 0. It's a lovely turn, a little flick from Leandro Damião, and that is placed expertly, curling away from Anthony Pintus. It's just a reminder, isn't it, of the kind of football the Kawasaki Frontale have used to dominate the domestic game. Is it going to get even worse now, right before half-time? The extra gear found most effectively. As a result of yet more aggravation, the captain, Stefan Schrock, is to go into the book. And that really has been building for more than a little while. No great surprise that's happened. Schrock, can he channel his frustration into something positive? It would be of great disappointment for United City FC if they find themselves losing discipline and losing a player. Maybe that's starting to happen. Maybe it's a good thing that Jason With is just a matter of moments away now from being able to have a chat with his players. Oh, that's cleverly done from the experienced Yenaga. This is very nice play. Tachi Banada goes behind off Hartmann. But this lightning quick from Akihiro Yenaga, 35-year-old from Hyogo, who has never actually scored in the Asian Champions League. Score of the second goal here to Oshima with the corner kick, foul against Zhao Schmidt. Schrock plays it to Negishi. Negishi gets it back. A chance here. Oh, he's just miscontrolled. Used to play for Global, real rival side of United City FC. Just a single minute. Time added on at the conclusion of the first half as Kawasaki Frontale seem to be fancying just one more before the whistle blows. Well played by Taniguchi, kept calm there as Hartmann was sliding in. Zhao Schmidt. content just to let the last few seconds elapse are Kawasaki Frontale, for they lead by 2-0 at half-time. United City FC have largely had a very positive first half, but the goal from close range from the corner kick by Kaoru Mitoma after he'd missed 2 chances, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, was then doubled by Ryota Oshima's beautiful strike, beating Anthony Pintus for the second time in the half. Regrouping now for United City FC as Jason With will urge his players, one suspects, to keep their discipline because tempers are just starting to fray as the sun begins to set here in Tashkent. At half-time, it's Kawasaki Frontale 2, United City FC 0. Welcome back to Tashkent in Uzbekistan, where very much is starting to become nightfall now. But is the sun setting on this contest for United City FC? They did make ever such a positive start to the game. Well, positive in the sense that they were negative by necessity, shall we say, trying to catch Kawasaki Frontale on the counter. They did an awful lot right, but were beaten by a couple of goals close to the half-time interval. A pleasant sight, the sun setting in the Silk Road city in Central Asia, hosting this portion of the eastern region, this little hub of teams. As Justin Bass, among others, comes out onto the field of play, and we have a couple of changes for Kawasaki Frontale. Yasuto Wakizawa coming on, along with Shintaro Kurumaya. Zhao Schmidt is exiting. Or has already exited, I should say. The 29-year-old Kurumaya. I'll just bring you a confirmation of those changes in just a moment as we get underway at the start of the second half between Kawasaki Frontale and United City FC. It is Kawasaki Frontale in possession, attacking the goal to your left, and the substitute Kurumaya getting an early touch on the ball. Started the game against Beijing Guoan. Great pleasure to have your company wherever in the world you're joining this contest from. Ollie Hogben here, bringing you this, the third game for these two teams in Group I. As things stand, Kawasaki Frontale will be beautifully positioned at the top of the group with 9 out of 9 points. Headed away by Amin Nazari. Ryota Oshima, the other player who's made way. His work done courtesy of the rather delightful and gentle finish beyond Anthony Pintus from some distance. We've seen flashes of what Akihiro Ienaga can do. A very fine player technically. And really this second half has begun as the first did. And the pressure continuing. It's played to Mitoma. And it will be cleared by Minagishi. Half cleared, well, he's just about managed to get it away. Jeziel. Hachibanada. And Taniguchi, who's played over 300 games for Frontale. Mitoma. He did a lot right in the first 45 minutes, Anthony Pintus. A player who has experienced the multi-sport games as the host nation when he played for Philippines in the Southeast Asian Games in 2019, as we look back at the foul by Jeziel. And he was beaten by a man who is going to be playing at a home Olympic Games, Kaoru Mitoma. One can only imagine the excitement that he feels about such an opportunity, and probably some sense of nervousness about it too. Real dream come true for the young Japanese players that have been selected to be part of the squad, along with the odd veteran here or there. 3 players that are allowed over age. One of them is Maya Yoshida. And there are a few of the United City FC players who were part of that Southeast Asian Games team with Anthony Pintus. It was a little heartbreaking for Philippines. They just missed out on qualification to the knockout stages as Kane lays it off to the number 10, Omid Nazari. Asking a little too much of Minagishi. Toro Oniki opting to make a couple of changes, cognizant of what is to come. The fixtures are so very packed together, although one might say players are getting used to that now. It was a novelty, wasn't it, when it started to happen around about a year ago, but now it is the normal way that football is played. Plenty of space now and a chance for a pullback to Leandro Damião, and he's got it in off the post. It is Kawasaki Frontale 3, United City FC 0. Calmly put into the back of the net by the 31-year-old from Jardim Alegre. It is his 6th goal across his AFC Champions League career. This is how he went about doing it. An effective pullback from Miki Yamane. Didn't hit it in the truest way, but when you're a player like Leandro Damião, you don't only score the spectacular ones. That's what makes him such an effective striker. It is 3rd goal of this particular campaign. Played back by Bienve Marañón, who hasn't really managed to impose himself on the game in anything like the way that he has done over the course of his career in the AFC Cup, where he is the all-time top scorer with 35 goals. 35-year-old has got an absolutely fascinating story, actually. Played in the Spanish lower leagues for many years, often as a virtual amateur player. Never really made a living out of football in the way that one that stereotypically thinks people make a living out of football, in that way that all footballers across the world are judged on the earnings of an elite 20 or 30 players. And then people are often very shocked to discover what they're actually making or not making. And in the case of United City FC's number 7, football was something that he started to play on the streets because his parents couldn't afford to send him to proper training. And then went to the Philippines in 2015 and decided that he was going to get better, not get worse. He wasn't going to use it as an opportunity to earn some money and quietly fade away. He was going to really study his teammates and develop his skills. He nearly retired in 2016 when his father passed away, but now he's just been given citizenship, as there's a shooting opportunity that draws the save from Pintus, who then makes a double stop from Leandro Damião from close range. Tachi Bernada, and it's again very good goalkeeping from Anthony Pintus. Substitute Yasuto Wakizawa, who scored a very fine goal against Beijing Goan, not able to beat the 23-year-old. Shogo Taniguchi. Slightly unorthodoxly laid off by Leandro Damião to Wakizawa. And there is Reo Hatate. They were very, very happy, Frontale, when they managed to sign him as a designated special player in 2018. He was a player that so many had an eye on. He's one of the most promising undergraduate players in the country. And quite a few of the Kawasaki Frontale players, as is customary in Japan, have made their way through the university system. One of them is the captain, Shogo Taniguchi, graduate of Tsukaba in 2013. Shintaro Kurumaya, likewise, he was in the year below, graduated in 2014 from the same university. Well, he does like to do rather spectacular things, Stefan Schrock, but that was not one of them. They do seem to have calmed down when they were looking in danger of getting a little irritated before half-time. It's Tachibanada, and it's another. And now it really is becoming the sort of game that many United City FC fans feared it would be. It's a second goal of this season's AFC Champions League for Kento Tachibanada, the 23-year-old. It is Kawasaki Frontale 4, United City FC 0. Timed his run very well. It's another useful bit of play from Yasuto Wakizawa, who is such a key figure at the heart of the team as a provider, as an engine. And it's Tachibanada who gets the goal. Made his debut in the last half an hour of the Super Cup, the curtain raiser at the beginning of every Japanese football season. Well, this is really so similar to what Kawasaki Frontale did against Beijing Goan, which is score the really energy-sapping, morale-hitting goals just after half-time. And indeed just before. They have been, under Toru Oniki, such proficient match managers. And they so rarely suffer an upset. But what they have done so rarely is achieve massive success in the AFC Champions League. That is the question mark that still floats around when one talks about Kawasaki Frontale and their greatness. They've not made it beyond the quarter-final stage. That's well dealt with by Amin Nazari, particularly in a position like that against Leandro Damião, because he can play the ball on the overhead, and does quite frequently. Kurumaya, Hatate. Shogo Damiao with the ball played straight to Hikaru Minagishi, and this isn't a bad opportunity for Stefan Schrock. He's got a lot to do, and that was not the right thing to do. And just like that, it all peters out. Well, at the moment, Kawasaki Frontale and Daegu FC keeping pace with each other in terms of the size of their margins over the weaker teams in the group. Daegu FC currently playing Beijing Guoan, and it's the same score as we have here. They're in the Bunyodkor Stadium in this same city. The advantage, the upper hand in the group, is with Kawasaki Frontale as a result of beating Daegu FC in the first match day. After this, it will be the reverse fixtures, so it'll be another United City Kawasaki Frontale game in 3 days' time, as the changes are made, and Miki Yamane is brought off and Kazuya Yamamura is brought on. And coming on for United City FC, Jai Ingham and Kurt Dizon. Captain Stefan Schrock departing and handing the armband to Bienve Maragnon. Mike Ott also has gone off. So the two players on, both 27. Ingham from New South Wales in Australia, but plays for the New Zealand national team. Kurt Dizon, born in London, started as a youth team player at Crystal Palace. Headed clear by Taniguchi. Brought down was Bienve Maragnon. He's taken the captaincy from Stefan Schrock, and it will allow an opportunity to see Kawasaki Frontale's captain replaced as well, as Shogo Taniguchi is coming off and Koki Tsukagawa replaces him. Another of the university graduates from Ryutsu Keizai. Coming on for Shogo Taniguchi, the player who made his AFC Champions League debut against Beijing Guoan. 13 appearances in J1 this season, all as a substitute. Kurumaya. This is his 20th appearance in the AFC Champions League. Jeziel going over the top to look for Leandro Damião. Error really from the goalkeeper. That's a disappointing one for Anthony Pintus. And the ball has been put in. It's a second goal for Kento Tachibanada, and it is a simple goal to the disappointment of Pintus, and it is Kawasaki Frontale 5, United City FC 0. Was he onside? Did Leandro Damião time the run correctly? I'll leave you to have a think about that one, but Pintus just seemed to be unsure as to exactly what he was doing. Leandro Damião doing enough to make things difficult, and it was a comfortable finish in the 65th minute for Kento Tachibanada. And his impressive record of scoring in this season's Champions League continues. Kazuya Yamamura. Atate moves the ball on. Waiting for that and reading it well was Shintaro Kurumaya. Toma. Jeziel. Leandro Damião controls it. Did he use his arm there? Hard to see. He used his strength, that's for sure, and in the end Jung Da-won making sure that the danger was cleared. Plenty of strength from Leandro Damião to chest that ball down. And they are looking increasingly frazzled, the United City FC players. They're having to chase the ball an awful lot. And they're coming under quite some pressure at the back now. Yet another corner for Frontale, and the goalkeeper gets enough of a touch to begin the process of clearing the danger. It's curled out and in again. Shintaro Kurumaya. Fancies a go, Kurumaya. Looked as though he fancied to go. He's going to get a chance, almost. Pintus gathers. He really has been under ever so much pressure. He was loaned to United City last season, permanent just recently. Again, it is Kurumaya who's seen a substantial amount of the ball. Koki Tsukagawa. Tate goes out onto the wing. Such useful experience provided in the team by Akihiro Ienaga. Joined in 2017 after 3 years at Omiya Ardija. A change at the back to bring some fresh legs on, really, more than anything else. One suspects that Adam Reed will replace Amin Nazari. So Nazari's 5th AFC Champions League appearance comes to an end. And Adam Reed begins his 2nd. He came on for the last 15 minutes against Daegu. A player born in Hartlepool in the UK. And they have given away possession, and Leandro Damião, oh, that's a great block from Jung Da-won, but it is temporary relief for United City FC, and it is a hat-trick for Kento Tachibana. It's Kawasaki Frontale 6, United City FC 0, and Tachibana has got a hat-trick in the Asian club competition at the highest level. Now, one thing you can say about the 23-year-old is he takes advantage of opportunity when it's presented to him. And he's done that on a few occasions across a couple of games. It was really loose play from United City FC. Hartman not able to control the ball and clear it, but it's an evident strength of that young man's play that he is opportunistic. First showed it against Beijing Goan. Kudamaya. Well, it's a real impact that Tachibana has had in the Champions League, and it could be useful for him in terms of getting into domestic contention a little more, because he tends to be used as a substitute. Games like this are about taking the chance, aren't they, when you're given it by your manager. About making a case for you to be further involved. Kuramaya. Yenaga. What a good overlap, what a good bit of play, and oh, what a good clearance off the line, because it looked as though Yasuto Wakizawa was going to put that in. I don't think he can quite believe he didn't score that. Yenaga to Hatate, and as Wakizawa struck, the substitute Adam Reed did very well, and it will be the last involvement of Reo Hatate in the game. And coming on is Kazuki Kozuka, making his debut in the AFC Champions League. Wakizawa did ask rather a lot of Tachibana, but he did okay. Space is just opening up so abundantly now for the Japanese side. Have recovered it though, the Golden Boys. Just when there was a hint of a chance for Jai Ingham, it was so easily mopped up by Jeziel. Still 4-0 in the other game between Daegu and Beijing Goan. It's going to be in just under a week's time that Kawasaki Frontale will meet Daegu FC for the second time. Yenaga. Change of position really for him. It's got to be a reasonable chance, hasn't there, if he gets in the right place for Yenaga to get his first ever AFC Champions League goal in his 21st appearance in the competition. Mark Hartman has covered a lot of ground, he's run hard, and he's been run hard. Coming off, going to be Sean Kane and Bienve Maragnon. Coming on, Cholo Burgas and Angelo Marasigan. And the 35-year-old from Andalusia will make way. A player whose involvement in the Philippines didn't begin in 2015, it began when his grandfather fled Spain due to his opposition to Franco and found succor in the form of a new home in the Philippines. Kuramaya out to Toma. Real pressure being put on by Kawasaki Frontale, even though the lead is so substantial, making life difficult for the defence of United City FC, and it's so hard for them to meaningfully construct anything from the back. And the passing accuracy really does tell a considerable part of the story. Now finally, Cholo Burgas is able to come on for Bienve Maragnon. Kurt Dizon has done really quite well, actually. That's good footwork. He doesn't get anything back from Marasigan. He's a tricky and clever player, is the 27-year-old, signed last month from Ratchaburi in Thailand. Over the top from Minagishi. Chance that leads to a corner kick. Ingham has looked promising since coming on. Who joined in March after leaving Brisbane Roar. It was well defended by Kazuya Yamamura. One imagines it's very easy in a situation like this, when you haven't had to do a great deal defensively, to just lose a pace or two and switch off, but that was not done. A rare corner for United City FC, and it didn't run through to Jai Ingham. And this might be tough for them to get back here, because there's a chance for Kawasaki Frontale with Tachi Banada, but team from Philippines have recovered their shape well and with discipline. Makizawa still has it. Makizawa, what a clever ball. And put a cross goal by Kawasaki. A wry smile from Leandro Damião as we approach the final 10 minutes of this game. Yamamura, Tsukagawa, it's going to still be Tsukagawa. Hasn't he done very well until the finish? Yes, that's the excitement of a player who doesn't score goals and who saw just for a moment his chance. Narasigan joined a couple of years ago, 29-year-old. Played back by Justin Bass, player who grew up in Netherlands. Had an impressive youth career at the likes of Volendam and AZ Alkmaar. Kuramaya will let it run. Tsukagawa. Not wide is the... Oh, that's played really nicely. It must be another goal, and it is. Thought that one was going out wide. It didn't. It went straight to Karu Mitoma, and he controlled that and finished well. Well, in the first half, Mitoma missed a couple of good chances from close range. That one he took ever so well. He gets his second goal of the game, and it is Kawasaki Frontale, who have 7 now. Again, was well timed, the run. And the finish showed excellent control. And a good contribution from Kazuki Kozuka as well in his AFC Champions League debut to provide his teammate. May not be the final time that the defence is breached. They don't appear to be in the mood to slow down, Kawasaki Frontale. Second game in a row that they have hit 7 without reply. Adam Reed wanted to take it quickly. Almost dispossessed was Jung Da-won. Well, there is absolutely no doubt that Jason With will have known the challenge that was going to come from Kawasaki Frontale, and it's been a challenge that they have entirely delivered on. They have shown no sluggishness, no sentiment, and they've been exactly what you expect Kawasaki Frontale to be, which is pretty clinical and very controlled and controlling. Touched on by Marasigan, he gets it back from Dizon. And is fouled by an immediately apologetic Kaoru Mitoma. He was desperate to get that ball, wasn't he? He does get it now, Angelo Marasigan, and then doesn't use it. He will probably feel it took a little too long to come out to him. Seen quite a lot of the ball so far, though, the number 30 since coming on. This cross is picked up by a late arriving Minagishi. Hartmann calling out for it. Difficult for Minagishi to find him. Now Hartmann does get it. Mitoma. Leandro Pereira has a study of his options and thinks the best is Wakizawa. And goes to Ienaga. Leandro Damião had a little space for a moment. Ienaga just keeps going on his own. And his wait for a first Champions League goal continues. Mohamed Mezali, the 30-year-old, a couple of years older than his brother Amin, who was substituted earlier. Hartmann just dwells a little too long, but recovers under the challenge of Mitoma. Yamamura to Jeziel. They have not been hugely tested at the back, it's fair to say. It's been a particularly light day's work for Chung Sung Ryong. Hasn't had to deal with anything on target. Kaoru Mitoma crossing quickly and behind off Justin Bass, who only joined United City FC last month in that big group of arriving players. And this a look back at the well-timed finish from Kaoru Mitoma. Kizawa going deep on that occasion. They've controlled the ball for 2/3 of the match, Kawasaki Frontale. Just as they have controlled every single aspect of this contest. There have been little moments here and there from United City FC, and they did very well to make it beyond the half-an-hour mark, but from that moment the whole game changed, and It was those goals either side of half-time that really just made it inevitable there would be no riposte from United City FC. Maybe if it had got to half-time at 1-0, we might be looking at a much closer margin now on the scoreboard. It's very hard to make idle supposition, but it's all part of the fun of it, isn't it? I don't imagine he's had too much fun today. Hartman with the corner. A late chance perhaps for United City FC to get something out of the game, to get some reward for a great deal of industry. Increasingly impressive display from Kaoru Mitoma as we enter 3 additional minutes. Yellow card given to a bemused looking Chung Da-won. These two teams will meet again in a few days' time, and it will be the game that one suspects United City FC won't exactly relish. Is there one more goal? No, it doesn't quite fall for Leandro Damião. Chipanada does well, and here is perhaps the final opportunity. It's a good save, it's going to go in though, and it is going to be 8. And it is the substitute Yasuto Wakizawa, who was denied earlier by Anthony Pintus, not this time. And in stoppage time, it's Kawasaki Frontale 8, United City FC 0. It looked as though it might be about to be Akihiro Yanaga's first ever AFC Champions League goal, but he at least made it difficult enough for Pintus, who left the goal open and inviting the finish from Yasuto Wakizawa. No mistake made. It is his second goal of this season's AFC Champions League. Ingham, who's worked hard since coming on as a substitute. Who is Dizon? Some of these players might be suggesting to their manager that they get the chance in the next fixture to see what they can do. The referee seems to be suggesting, look, there's not much time left, let's all be civilised and civil. Was there just a little flick out perhaps by Justin Bass? Possibly. And it brings to a close a very comfortable victory for Kawasaki Frontale in a very tough day at work for Anthony Pintus, who tried his absolute hardest and did probably help to ensure that it was not a case of double figures. Hands on hips for United City FC. They gave it their all, but they came up against the finest team in Japan. They came up against a side who know how to hammer goals in both domestically and continentally. It will look on the scoreboard very comfortable, and that's because, in truth, it was. There was never really any doubt as to which way this one was going. At the conclusion of this match, the third in Group I of the 2021 AFC Champions League. It's Kawasaki Frontale 8, United City FC 0. It's been a great pleasure having your company for this match, and I hope you're looking forward to the return meeting between these teams in 3 days' time.